Are you struggling to get people to watch your videos? Are the algorithms not pushing out your content? Are you just genuinely lacking some views? Everyone talks about growth hacks and camera gears, but do you know what really grows social media channels? Storytelling. In today's video, I'm going to share storytelling techniques that actually work for social media content, and I'm going to give you examples. Do not say I do not spoil you. This video is sponsored by Storyblocks, more on them later. All right, I'm excited to get into this because I've been deep diving storytelling techniques recently. You may have noticed that a lot of other creators seem to be doing the same. This is very much where the social media space is moving. So if you don't take the time to learn how to tell a good story, then you might end up being left behind. So with that being said, we're going to kick off by talking about the key elements of a powerful story. So the first element is a character. Right now in this video, I'm the character, and I'm willing to bet in most of your content, you're probably the character too. Now, the key here is that you don't just need a character in your videos, but you need your audience to care about your character in some way. Either they're bought into the character's story, or maybe they really respect what the character has to say. Either way, your audience needs to have some draw to the character to keep them engaged. If you're a new creator and you film vlogs or day in the lives, for example, don't introduce yourself in your content and think, yes, I've ticked the character box. What you actually want to do is give your audience a reason to care about you. That's more important than what your name is or where you live. Sorry, that sounds so harsh, but it's true. Your audience need to care. The second element is conflict. A great story has some form of tension to it. This one could be quite hard to explain, so I'm going to use Emma Chamberlain, the queen of vlogs, some might say, as an example. This is one of Emma's very first vlogs, and it's got over 1 million views. The vlog follows her as she goes to take a driving test. The driving test is the story. The tension is whether or not she will pass or fail. See how simple that could be? Third element to a great story is a resolution. So hopefully you've introduced a character, you've built some tension. We now need to give some kind of resolution to the tension that you previously built. So if we use Emma's driving test vlog as an example again, the resolution here was that she passed her test, right? That was the resolution to the tension that she previously built.
It was very scary, but I passed.
By the way, I'm not saying that Emma Chamberlain sat down and took a storytelling course before she started vlogging, and that's the reason why she saw success. Some people naturally create content that has a story arc running through it. But for a lot of us, and yes, I am included, we don't naturally think that way. So sometimes we need a little bit of help to make sure that our content actually is telling a story. Speaking of me and my content, you might be watching this thinking, okay, but Jade, your content is just sitting down talking head content. Like, how do you tell a story or create a narrative through yours? Well, even content like mine can also have a narrative. The story arc for my content is often that I identify a problem, I share a process for solving that problem, and then the outcome of my content is that the problem has been solved. That is exactly the format that I'm following in this video, and I'm going to challenge myself to use all of the tips that I'm going to share throughout the rest of this video in this video itself. Let me know if you can spot them in the comments. So now we've broken down the key elements of a great story. Hopefully we're on our way to building a narrative throughout our content. This is super important because videos which have a narrative actually perform up to 300% better in terms of engagement than videos that don't. 300%. Now, you might already be aware that building a narrative or a story arc, whatever you want to call it, is only part of the job. If you're not hooking your audience in within the first few seconds of your video, then they're not going to end up consuming the rest of the video anyway. Before we move on to talk about how you can hook your audience, I do want to take a second to talk about another key storytelling technique, which is all about the visuals that you use. So this next technique I'm calling visual storytelling shortcuts. Not the snappiest title I've ever come up with, but that's okay. This technique is all about the visuals that you use, usually in post-production, so that just means after you've already filmed. So this is usually when you're in the editing stage of your content production process. This is when you can use these visual storytelling shortcuts to really bring your content to life and ensure that you're telling a great story. There's a few different visual elements that you can use for this technique. The first is using text on screen to reinforce plot points, just like I'm doing right now and just like I have done throughout this video. The second involves adding B-roll or reaction shots to enhance the story that you're trying to tell. This is one of my favorite hacks to use when it comes to storytelling, and there's a tool that you can use to gather super high quality B-roll to bring your story to life, and that tool is called Storyblocks. Now, if you're new to Storyblocks, it's essentially a stock media subscription service which gives you access to unlimited high quality stock videos, images, sound effects, templates, the lot. It's designed to help creators and businesses enhance their social media content without having to worry about copyright concerns or extra costs. How it basically works is that you sign up to Storyblocks and you pay one monthly subscription fee, and that fee gets you unlimited access to all of their stock media downloads. As I mentioned before, this includes videos, really great for enhancing your storytelling, images, audio, sound effects, templates, and more. The content is diverse, it's high quality, and you never have to worry about hidden extra fees. Now, when it comes to using these assets to enhance your storytelling, consider matching the content that you'll download from Storyblocks with the emotional tone of the video that you're creating. So if you're filming a vlog and it's super exciting and you want to get some great B-roll of London skyline, you can head to Storyblocks, type in London skyline, skyline and find the video that best matches the emotional tone of the content that you're trying to create. That is just one way that you can enhance your story by using B-roll that you can get from Storyblocks. All of the content that you download from Storyblocks has been created by real artists. Stock collections celebrate the human experience by capturing stories and emotions that AI simply cannot replicate. So if you want to tell more powerful, authentic stories with unique footage from real artists and communities, Storyblocks is going to be a very, very useful tool for you. To get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/Jade Beason or click the link in my description. Okay, shall we talk about hooks? I know how much everyone loves to learn about hooks. The truth is, because all of our brains are fried and we now have the attention span, which is actually less than a goldfish's, as creators, we literally only have seconds to grab someone's attention before they scroll off or click on someone else's video. As demonstrated by this very embarrassing retention graph from one of my older videos. Look how many people dropped off of my video within the first 30 seconds of watching it. Embarrassing. If you're wondering why so many people clicked off, it's because the beginning of my video looks like this. Specializes in swimwear. Thought it was a really great idea at the time. Hilarious. Oh yeah, let's sell swimwear. Everybody always wants swimwear, right? Terrible, I know. So how can we do this better? There are 3 hook methods that I want you to consider using in your next piece of content. This first is to start your video content at the emotional peak of your video rather than at the beginning. You then fill in the context throughout the rest of your video. Let's watch an example of a creator using this technique super well.
That is a guy willing to do whatever it takes to capture that flag. Literally anything. That's because today me and my 3 other adult friends are playing the most extreme version of capture the flag the internet has ever seen. But why? Well, it all goes back to this conversation.
And just for argument's sake, now let's watch a video of a creator, it's me, doing this terribly. I went on Google, good old Google, and was like Googling it. Oh my God, big mistake. Big mistake. So why did the first example work and the second example not work? Simply because the second example from my video was not using a part of my content that was emotional enough. It was the emotional peak of my content, but that's because my content simply wasn't emotional. So me rambling on at the beginning of that video wasn't engaging enough, so people just dropped off. Whereas the first example used a highly emotional peak, and that grabbed people's attention and made them want to watch the rest of the video so they can fill in the context. Method 2, multi-format hooks. You've probably seen these types of videos appear on Instagram recently. They're produced by creators who are trying to teach us the different types of hooks that we can use in our content. One type of hook that we can use is a visual hook. So this is when we actually do something. Maybe we slam a cup of coffee on the table. Maybe we sit down. Maybe an explosion happens in the background. I don't know what kind of videos you're filming. The essence of a visual hook is that something is happening on the screen that is capturing someone's attention. The next type of hook is a text hook. This is when you're writing something on the screen that will hopefully get your audience to stop scrolling and want to engage with the rest of your video. Now, this is often used for educational creators like me. I'll use a text hook at the start of most of my content to try and grab my audience's attention. Some advanced tips for doing this is to have each word that you're saying appear on screen as you say it. Just like this text that's appearing on the screen right now. This animation technique is really great at grabbing your audience's attention because they usually want to continue watching your video to see what it is that you have to say. The final type of hook is an audio hook, and this is the most popular. This is when you're saying something within the first few seconds of your video that is specifically designed to capture your audience's attention. No one else's, just your audience's. I use this in all of my videos, so you can watch any of my YouTube content and any of my Instagram or TikTok content, to be honest, and you'll notice that the first few words or sentences that I say in my video are specifically designed to capture your attention. Arguably, it's working pretty well because you're still watching this video, aren't you? Method 3 is the APT method, and this is an advanced one that I don't think many people are talking about. ABT stands for and, but, therefore. It's basically a way for you to set an intention for your video, and if you use it as a hook, it allows your audience to understand who your video is for and what value they can get from it very, very quickly. Let's do an example. The and is used to establish the character, the setting, and the core situation for your video. For example, you're a content creator and you're trying to grow your audience. The but introduces the conflict or the problem, and I just want to take a second to add that if you've watched this entire video, you should already kind of know who your character is and what the conflict is already, because I did talk about this earlier on in the video. So the examples for the but would be, but no one's engaging with your videos, right? So far we've got you're a content creator and you're struggling to grow your audience, but no one's engaging with your videos. The final section is therefore. So this is the part where you deliver the resolution, the action, the insight, you resolve the problem, right? An example of that would be, therefore, you need to master storytelling to keep your viewers hooked. Now let's see if I can remember all of that in one go. You're a content creator and you want to grow your audience, but no one's engaging with your videos. Therefore, you need to master storytelling to keep your viewers hooked. Nailed it. First go, may I add. I did have to reread it just to check. So do you see how when you put those elements together, you can have a great hook that helps your audience understand the value of your videos within seconds of them watching it? Okay, so the next storytelling technique is to use story loops. This is basically when you tease something in your content, but you don't resolve it straight away. So it's when you're watching a creator's video and they'll say something like, but I'll get to that later, or we'll come back to that. I actually used this earlier on in my video. Can you identify when I used it and let me know in the comments? I feel like a teacher when I do stuff like that. I'm like, homework. The reason why this works is because by teasing some kind of resolution later on in the video and using a story loop, your audience then want to continue watching your video to close that loop, right? They want to hear the resolution. They want to hear that thing that you teased previously. So they end up actually watching the entirety of your video. When I first learned about this technique, I sat down and said, okay, I'm going to come up with a YouTube video idea where I can use this technique throughout just to see how it performs. That video is this one. It's the video where I tell the full story about how I went from working full-time to becoming a full-time content creator in just 6 months. This is one of my most successful YouTube videos to date. And if you want to see an example of the story loop being used repeatedly throughout a video, that is the video to watch. I'm incredibly proud of that video. It is such a great case study of how well that technique works. Those are all my tips. If you got value from this video, if at any point you thought, oh, that's a good one, I'm going to use it, please hit the like button. It allows me to reach more people and hopefully help them master storytelling too. Do not forget to head to storyblocks.com/Jade Beason to get your unlimited access to their incredible library of media assets. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's all about the key things that you need to be de-influenced about when it comes to becoming a content creator. Very important video for all content creators to watch, in my humble opinion. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I cannot wait to see you in my next video.